What's up guys, Jake with Millennial Men Actual, and today we are going to be putting together our emergency food bucket. So the first thing we want to do is we want to rinse it out and at least get it pretty clean. Now you can do hot soapy water. We're just going to do hot water for now because they're not going to be super dirty. However, if you did find it laying around the house somewhere, maybe it was in the garage with something else in it prior, you definitely want to make sure that it's cleaned out really well. So we're just going to flip on the hot water here and we're going to take the lid off here. And I'm actually going to, we definitely want to take off this sticker. And if you can, try and make sure you don't leave any residue like this. All right, so fortunately it comes off pretty good. And then I'm just gonna run this under the hot water here. And we wanna make sure that it is thoroughly rinsed. Sometimes there's just dust and dirt in here and stuff. And I'm actually gonna rinse off the outside as well, because what can happen is the outside can be dusty and dirty. And as you're handling it, that dirt and dust can actually fall inside the bucket where you previously put your food. Now also, I did wash my hands right before this. I would highly recommend doing the same thing because you don't want to touch this with dirty hands. And then I already put the lid on. You do have to press this on, but I'm going to do the same thing here and get some water in here. And I'm turning it as the water's going in so that the sidewall all the way around gets rinsed. And now I'm going to do it to the edge here so that the rim all the way around gets rinsed as well. And once I have that, now I can switch this around and pour this out. All right. And hello. All right, so I've got this here. Now, the other reason I recommend hot water is so that it dries quickly, but we are going to use some clean paper towels. These are kitchen ones. Make sure that you're not using paper towels that are sitting next to, say, your cleaning supplies. And we're just going to start with the rim here, go all the way around. You want to make sure all the water is dried up, because if any moisture gets in with your food, it will mold. And the last thing we want in an emergency is to have a bunch of buckets of stored food and none of it is good or usable. And so now, there's a little bit left in here. Let's see if we can get it out after it all collected at the bottom. All right. I'm trying to be very careful to only use one hand on the inside, one hand on the outside, so that one hand can kind of be my dirty hand touching the outside, and the other hand, my right one, can stay clean as I'm drying off the whole interior. Now it doesn't have to be like sterile or anything like that, but the better you keep everything clean and dry, the better odds that you have of having good, clean, usable food in an emergency. And then come over here, same thing. I'm going to hold the outside with my left hand and try the inside here. All right, so this is pretty spick and span here. Looks good. Now let's go ahead and fill up our bucket. I'm going to go over some ways that you can put the rice and the beans in there, and then how many cc's of oxygen absorbers we need in order to make sure that it stays dry long term. All right, so I've got my helpers here, Eliza and Rory. And what we're gonna do is we're going to put the rice and the beans and the oxygen absorbers into the bucket. Now, this is 6 gallons, and it, from what I remember, it easily fits 20 pounds of rice and at least 12 pounds of beans. Now, the way that I'm gonna do this is to make this easy. It is gonna be fun. Go ahead and sit back for a second. To make this easy, is Rory, can you stand up real quick? Go ahead and stand up. Now this is heavy. I want you to pick this up and set it inside there, okay? And we're gonna keep it in the bag, and that way it doesn't mix in with the rice. Ready? You got it? You got it, you got it. Here, try picking it up at the bottom. There you go. Hey, good job. All right, now scoot back. All right, so basically I just position this right in the middle, and that way, there's actually a hole in this bag. I can feel the air coming out. And that's okay, because we're gonna have oxygen absorbers. The main thing is we don't want the beans to mix in with the rice, because then we can't portion out the rice and the beans how we want. Now you can see that there's space all the way around the beans here, and that's exactly what we want. And you can put this to one side, or you can put it in the middle. It's totally up to you. But basically you just want it to be accessible when you unpack it. Now, Eliza, I'm gonna help you a little bit with this, but basically we need to take this bag. This is 20 pounds of rice. Wow. And Eliza, I'm gonna cut this bag open. Oh, no. And you're gonna lift it up. I'll help you a little bit because it kind of flops around. We're gonna pour the rice all around the sides here, okay? Now, are you ready? Go ahead and stand up, Eliza. Stand up. How heavy is this? Is that heavy? Yeah. Good. Put one hand here, one hand on the back. There you go. Tip it over. Oh, nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow. All right, so we're gonna pour it all around the edge here. Good, on this side too, without spilling it. There you go.
Are we gonna pour all of it?
Yep.
Oh man. We're coloring it with white.
Yep. All right, so we have our 12 pounds. Oh, we got some fuzzies from that bag. That's okay. All right, guys, so the rule of thumb for rice is going to be 500 cc's per gallon. Now, this is 6 gallons, but it's not filled all the way to the top. That's okay. So for 6 gallons, these are 300 cc packets. So we actually need 10 of these. So let's open up one of these guys and let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Eliza, go ahead and throw those in there. Just throw them on top. And then Rory, come here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and throw those in. Good job. So since there's about 5 to 6 inches above here, I'm gonna throw in some extra oxygen absorbers just to make sure that the extra moisture that's in this air right here gets sucked out. So I'm actually going to double how many packets I have in here. So I had these packets left over from the last package of oxygen absorbers, so I'm totally okay with using these guys up. All right, so now that the packets are in here, we can put the lid on, and you don't have to push the packets down into the rice or anything. It's already pretty airtight because it's rice. So let's go ahead and get the lid and put that on. Don't touch anything.
I thought it was that okay?
All right, so we've got our lid. I do highly recommend the Gamma Seal lids. These are gonna make sure that it stays airtight. I have witnessed from other people and myself other problems with the lids that just snap on and then you have to take them off. They're also just more convenient because they're threaded. Now with this extra space, if you wanna throw a stack of paper plates or maybe even a stainless steel set, you can put some utensils in there, reusable. You can put whatever you want in there. A couple of my buckets actually have a life straw so that in an emergency you can still drink water, stuff like that. It's totally up to you how you want to use this extra space. If you were to put in 20 pounds of beans, it would take up all the space up to the top for 6 gallons, just so that you know. So we're gonna go ahead, put this on. Make sure that it's tight, but you don't want to over tighten it. I have had a couple buckets, it took a couple years, but I have had a couple buckets where this actually cracked because I was wrenching down too tight. because it has the Gamma seal, just tightening it to firmness, it's going to be enough and it's going to be sealed. So now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and put a label on it when we packaged it and what's inside of it. All right, so now that we've got the sealed, we're going to make a label, and I'm actually going to put what's inside and when it expires. So the expiration date is September of 2022. So the first thing we're going to put is we're going to put what's inside of it, 2022. So Eliza, what's one of the things that's inside? Just one.
Beans.
And what's the other thing that's inside?
8.
Yes, rice and beans. And so that we know what kind of beans, I'm going to put pinto instead of pinto beans or just beans. So put 12 pounds pinto. All right, so now that we put on the label what's inside, the 20 pounds of beans, the 12 pounds of pinto, now on the second line, I'm going to put expiration date, which I'm just going to put EXP, and then I'm going to put the year 2022, and then I'm going to put SEP for September. All right, so now we're ready to print out the label. Roy, go ahead and push the white button there. Sounds like those batteries are dying. All right, go ahead and cut it. Nice. There you go. Perfect. And let's check it real quick. 20 LBS rice, 12 LBS pinto, EXP 2022 September. I like it. Now, it's arguable where to put the label. Probably don't want to put it on top. Buckets get stacked on top. I like to put it where it's going to be protected. So in between these two edges is probably where there's going to be the least amount of stuff happening. Stuff's probably not going to hit it here, or you can put it right underneath this one, but stuff is going to maybe be hitting the side more here. So I like to put it right here. Another added thing that you can do is, I only have the paper labels left. I used up all of the laminated ones, but get the ones that are water resistant and they're laminated. Those are going to work out best. All right, Eliza, can you go ahead and put your finger like this and slowly press it across? Good job. And then Roy, can you come over here and get all the edges? The top edge and then the bottom edge. Go ahead and smooth it out. There you go. Slowly run your finger across the edge. Good job. Make sure it's pressed all nice and smoothly. Perfect. All right, guys, so this guy is sealed and ready to store for at least a year. The expiration date of September 2022, that's only a year from now. But that is in this bag without being sealed and without oxygen absorbers. So because we have it in this bucket sealed with oxygen absorbers, this guy is good to go for more than a year. You can set this in a closet, keep it in a garage, preferably somewhere where there's not a lot of moisture. I like to keep it indoors because plastic is actually not a moisture barrier. So if you keep this indoors where it's temperature controlled, climate controlled, you're gonna have a lot better odds long term. All right, guys, so that is everything you need to know to make your emergency food bucket. Check out the affiliate links below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.